the race, growing your base. That is, I love it.
I like
love it when
that
they
title.
rhyme. Always,
That's a good
always
one.
makes, I know. It makes, need more rhyming in life in general, I think. And then Nick and Patty, hello. All right, well, I'm going to share my screen here, Casey, and kick us off if that works.
Let's do it. You read them.
Yeah. Get my best Brandon voice. That's what I go for. Studied with the best over the years.
Brandon and I, by the way, are dividing and conquering a little bit today, getting the finishing touches ready for next week's Evolution Part 2. So we're gonna we've decided today to divide up a touch. So go ahead, Doug. Let's do it. It was a good week.
We got the war room over there. It really is a war room, I think. It's like the most war roomiest war room we've had. Feels good. A lot of whiteboards. A lot of beautiful mind action going on in those rooms.
It really is.
Yeah, just because we got Mark Balmer. That's really the only reason there's a beautiful mind going on in that room. All right, well, I'm going to jump into some leaderboards for us this week. Hitting our top 10 new writers. Congratulations. A great week. We were looking at the numbers and certainly glad to see things are on an uptrend company-wide and a lot of great numbers coming out. So appreciate everybody on the call who's been out there working hard. All right, top 3 new writers. We got number 3, Chaz Eckert. Number 2, Christopher Sursa. And coming in at number 1, Gregory Myers. Congratulations, Gregory, our new writer with over 9,000 in APV for first week out of the gates. Top producers for the week in APV. Got coming in number 3, Bobby Saberi with 19 grand in production. Tanisha Solomon with 25.5 in APV. And coming in at number 1, Keith Jeffrey Fonseca with 28,000, just over 28,000 in APV. Congratulations. It's a great week. Our top 10 producers in app count. Coming in number 3, Laura Davis with 15. Cameron Henderson with 18, and Thomas Brown with, 32 applications this week. Thomas has been working hard. That's awesome. All right. Top 10 producers for the month of June. We'll start over on the APV side. Number 3, Nicole Fusco. Number 2, look at that. My buddy Rasim on the call today. Nice work, Rasim, with 54,000 for the month. Coming in at number 2 so far. And number 1, Sean Hogue with 60,000 in production. On the app count side, Nick Compantori. Wow, we got a great call today. Jordan Howell with 44, and coming in number 1, Rasim. Nice work. 45 for the month of June. I think this wraps up our month-to-date numbers because today's July 1st, correct? Yep. So that's our top app count writer for the month of June. Nice work. Top Medicare supplement producers for this week. We've got Cindy Lee Sawyer coming in number 3. Margaret Richmond coming in at number 2. And number 1, Rob Purley with 2 apps for 2,800 in APV. Top 5 critical illness producers for the week. Steve Miziano with 2,500 in APV almost. Stephen White coming in at number 2 with 3,200, and number 1, Michelle Brock, just edging him out with that extra application and a little bit more APV. Congratulations, Michelle, top critical illness writer for the week. Our top disability income producers. Number 3, Angela Morlam. Number 2, Terry Myers. And Nick and Patty coming in at number 1 with the disability sale for the week. Congratulations, Nick and Patty. It was a well-timed call I'm sensing this week, Casey. Our leaderboards are lining up with our guests nicely. All right, top IUL producers. Number 3, Nathalia Armis. Number 2, Marty Valor. Number 1, Michelle Flanagan with 12,000 in production for the week.
Nice.
Our top 5 annuity producers. Got number, this one got me. This one got me. I didn't look ahead this week. All right. Hussein Desful. Oh, gosh. Stopped halfway through.
Desfulizadeh.
If it's phonetical, you nailed it. If it's phonetic, you nailed it. I don't know if it is or not. Correct us if we're wrong. I'm sure we're about to get a bunch
It's
of
a good
texts
one.
telling us how wrong we are. I know. Congratulations. Great weekend in the annuity production.
A nice annuity, yeah.
Look at that. Mr. Jimmy Spieldinner hitting the
Boom.
leaderboards this week with a $300,000 annuity. Nice work. And coming in number one, Devin Fleming with $350,000 in production on the annuity side. Great work, everybody. Top five debt life producers. Keith Fonseca coming in at number 3. Christina Lopez at number 2, just edging him out. And number 1, George White with $27,000 in APV. Nice work.
Very nice.
Top recruiters for the week. Ooh, Mr. Pogue topping both leaderboards for us this week. Top 3 Baseshops. Andrew Jimenez, Dana Elf, and Jacob Pogue coming in on the top 3 directs. Miranda Martin, Kevin Purdy, and Jacob Pogue. Top new writers for the week. Tie for second place with Chris Cook and Ian Graham at 2. George Matthews with 3 for the week. Top 3 direct for new writers. We've got Kevin Purdy at number 3, Michael Colburn at number 6, and number 1, Mr. Jacob Pogue. All right, our top key leaders week to date. Joanne Castellano. Shouldn't have gotten hung up on that one. I know that one. Number 2, Courtney Wallace with $22,000, and Michael Sudoff and team with $28,000 in production. Month to date for the month of June, or for the complete month of June, Gil Grigio with $58,000, Athen Poulis with $74,000, and Michael Sudoff with $89,000. That's a great week for key leaders. Looks like everybody in our top 6 and above, top 7 and above this week was hitting their numbers for that next promotion. Congratulations. Our top 10 agency owners this week. Number 3, James Robertson. Number 2, Jerry Cantrell at $47,000. And number 1, Ryan Federico with $51,000 in APV. I forgot playing third base and top on the leaderboard. We got our top 10 agency owners for the month of June. Jerry Cantrell coming in at number 3 with $132,000. Jeremy Whitaker with $138,000. And Jim Russman coming in on top, just shy of $150,000 in APV. Top 10 base shops for the week. Number 3, Melissa Weigel at $46,000. Chris Cook, just shy of $50K. And number 1, Mr. Eddie Pritchett. Ooh, just edging him out. That's a close one. Coming in at number 1 with also just shy of, beat him by, what is that, $300? A little less than $300.
Nice.
All right. Top 10 base shops for the month. Chris Cook, $127,000. Melissa Weigel, $129,000. And Keshawn Monteith coming in on top with $162,000 for the month in the base shop. Our top 10 agency directors. Number 3, Griff Martin. Number 2, Larry Griffin at $78,000. And number 1, Melissa Weigel with $88,500 in production for her team for the week. Great work, everyone. All right, our top 10 agency directors for the month. Griff Martin coming in number 3. Melissa Weigel coming in number 2. Larry Griffin still edging him out for the month with $330,000. Great work, Larry and team. Top 10 rad and beyond. Skinny Lenny Watkins coming in just shy of $500,000. Edward Pritchett at $768,000, and back on top, I'm guessing Mr. Marshall Whalen with $777,000.
Nice,
the
Marshall.
flip-flopping leaderboard.
I know, man. That's a
good. I'm always
tight
guessing.
race out there at the top, ain't it? I like it.
All right. Month for Rad and Beyond. Lynn Watkins, number 3. Marshall Whalen, number 2. And for the month, Eddie got him, just edging him out for top Rad and Beyond for the month of June.
Nice.
Top 10 directs week to date. Jacob Pogue, $161,000. Keshawn Monteith, $182,000. And Kevin Purdy dominating the direct leaderboard this week. Nice work, Kevin, and everybody on the call. $234,000. All right, our top 10 directs for the month. Jacob Pogue, Keshawn Monteith coming in at number 2, and number 1, also Mr. Kevin Purdy. Nice job. All right. Woo, would you look at that? Rasim coming in on top. How you feeling about that, Rasim?
Oh, that looks awesome. I didn't know I was up there. Not today.
Nice.
That's good.
Wow.
Get your board shorts and your tan ready to go, Racine.
Already
right.
packing up. Already packing up.
That's awesome.
That's right. That's right. Well, don't take your foot off the gas, though. Most important.
No
Yeah.
way. Not
You got a heck of a group of people behind you, nipping
Believe
at
me,
your heels.
I feel
Nick
it.
and Patty on the list as well.
Yeah,
Got
that's right.
several folks
Not that
there.
far
That's
off.
awesome. Top 5, top 6. That's great. Let's see. We'll move on. These will all be posted on the website on the Pura Vida Invitational page. Go down. Give you a little bit of time to check your name. Ooh, it starts to stack up a little stronger at the bottom. Well, congratulations to everybody pushing hard. There is still, when is the date this wraps up? I guess we got one more full month at this point of competition to make the decision. Is that right? So halfway through, everybody is still in contention. So just make sure you're pushing. I think we put the top 50 out there on the webpage so you can see a little bit further down and where you might be. All right. For the Pura Vida Invitational, here's our overall top Foresters producers as well. So similar, but a little different from the previous list, which means the folks on this list keep selling some Foresters. Get your double production counted for that as a part of the contest with the lovely sponsorship from our good friends over at Foresters. All right, our announcements, Casey. I'll let you hit these. We got a big one coming. Coming next week. I know you're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, we
do.
Yep.
July 8th, 1 p.m. Eastern, the evolution of your company, part 2 of, I don't even know if we know yet, but part 2 of at least 4. The evolution of your company. Couldn't cram it all into one conference call, so we're gonna spread it out. So yes, we are now in the final round. We've got through the end of this month with 280 agents competing. Again, 6 chances to win a all expense paid trip to Costa Rica. All right. Our upcoming events this week, we've got our sales training webinar hosted by founder Casey Watkins. That's tomorrow.
I better set my calendar.
Get your notes ready.
I'm looking forward to it. We're going to dig in. It's going to be good.
That's great. Yeah, increasing your profitability. You know, we've been reviewing these numbers quite a bit internally, and just have been zeroing in on the impact and power of monitoring and paying attention to that PPL.
Yep.
So, got 2 of the best with our national sales director Todd Spivey and Mr. Watkins. Talking to you all about PPL. All right, Monday, July 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern, our sales training call with Executive Vice President Kevin Purdy and special guest Kevin. Are you going to give us a hint who your special guests are going to be, or are you just going to leave it up to showing up? You got to show up to find out.
You got to show up to find out.
I love the teaser, Kevin. Keep them asking for a little bit more. All right, so we have as obviously the potential of travel and doing all other things is certainly continuing to pose some challenges. We have elected to move towards a virtual AOA. The events page is up and ready to go for registration. So for all new agency owners, the format's going to be a little bit different as it is virtual, but we'll be sending out information and let you know what to expect. But coming up on July 22nd and 23rd, it'll be the afternoon of the 22nd for a little kickoff, and then most of the day on the 23rd, where we'll have our departments available to answer questions. So again, this is for folks that have reached the agency owner level in our company, and please come and join us. It's virtual, so the more, the merrier. All right. Tool of the week.
Yes.
Meredith, you down there somewhere?
I am. You hear me?
Gonna do the theme song with me?
Real excited. I'm still waiting on my jingle that I've been promised now for like.
I already nailed it. They didn't want to keep it, but I already nailed the jingle.
I don't know if that means you nailed
Tool
it.
of the week. Oh, personally, I believe I nailed it.
Personally, you nailed it.
Personally, you nailed it. Yeah, for sure. But really excited to share this week's tool with Vida, who and talk and really had one of my favorite tools, I feel like, in the field guide, one of the most helpful when communicating with whomever, whether it's personal or agency related. So, Imelda, why don't you just talk to us a little bit about kind of why you chose this tool and kind of what you found helpful from it?
Well, thanks, Meredith. First of all, I wanted to say that when Meredith reached out to me to talk about a tool in the toolkit, I thought, I'm not ready to do that. I haven't really mastered them, and I felt, just there's so many people using these tools, and I'm just getting going with them. But when I looked at this one, I remembered that I had learned about it in the Giant TV. And if anybody isn't taking advantage of that, it is such an incredible tool that we have access to. And there's a video with Jeremy Kubicek and Steve Cockrum discussing how they'd had a conversation. They were in a cafe, they're having this conversation, and they just completely missed this idea of when we communicate, what we say and how things are received are often very, very different. And as we'll talk about a little bit later, communication is not my strong suit, right, Meredith? I was telling you, and many times, I would say something to someone and hear back later that they took it in a completely different way. Maybe it was, it seemed a little harsh or a little too strong, when in my mind, I was sending it out with love and care and concern. So when I watched this video, I just got so excited because, they set out, these 5 concepts or tools within the communication code, and the idea that with whomever you're discussing or having a conversation with, you can actually say, like, hey, Rasim, let's collaborate here. Here's what my idea, I want to get some feedback from you. So you can actually use this with anyone. And after I watched the whole video, I made all my notes, which I have right here. I was telling Meredith, I ran downstairs to share this with my husband, John. And the thing is that, if anybody here is in a committed relationship, and how sometimes when you speak to your partner, right? I had been beginning to use the tool already with him and saying, well, hey, I really need you to just listen to me. In telling him up front, I have a girlfriend, sometimes she'll call me and say, Imelda, I need to rant. I need to just tell you, but saying that right up front to the person that we're speaking to is a great way for them to know exactly what you want from them, right? And some of the tools, critique, I just developed something on a Google Sheet. I invited a couple of people on my team to come together with me on a call. And I said, hey, I've created this. What do you think? How can we make it better? And I'm starting to use that with my team. Do you want me to go all through these?
Go for it.
Okay.
Keep rolling.
The idea to critique sometimes is a little hard, right? To ask somebody to give you, it takes that sort of vulnerability, right? To kind of say, hey, I need your feedback on this. But if I have set out to you ahead of time, Meredith, I need you to just give me some critique. Let me know where the holes are and help me strengthen up my idea. Then I'm also accepting of that critique back from you, setting up that expectation. Clarifying, checking that you understand. I've been using this a lot in working with my agents. So what I hear you saying is this and getting that clarification. And boy, that's really improved a lot of things, because I'm admitting that maybe I didn't hear it right. Maybe I don't know what their intention and how they transmitted that communication. Collaborate, that's an easy one, to just say, hey, let's work together on this. I know that we're doing that collectively here at Symmetry and within our teams. Hey, help me shape this. You've got a lot of expertise. What do you think we could do to get the best outcome? And then care, that idea of what I was saying with, with our spouses, but sometimes this is really good, even with our team, our leadership. I've done this with my mentor, Kevin Purdy, hey, I just need you to listen. Here's what's really getting to me right now. And I think that, again, just this tool of letting people know what we want from them up front is so valuable. The one that I think is really fun is the idea of celebration. And that goes back to the start of Jeremy and Steve's video. Is one of them wanted to celebrate and the other one was in communicate in critique mode, and that's how they missed. But hey, let's celebrate this success. Just kind of hear me out. And maybe there's some critique there, but maybe this isn't the conversation, right? So Meredith, if I'm wanting you just to listen to me celebrate, just about our great week, or, Rossum's #1 on the Pura Vida, and just have you listen to that, then, if there's some feedback you need to give me, maybe it's another call, maybe it's another time. And I am definitely starting to use this. And it's really helped. It's really helped. And I want to thank you, Meredith and Doug and everybody in the leaders here, because we're all starting to use the same language, right? I was telling you that. I was thinking that I wasn't learning these tools or using the tools, but in fact we are, because we're all talking them. And this method of highlighting these as you do every week, I think is just fantastic. So thank you for everything that you're doing for us and bringing these to us, these tools to use.
Thank you. Yes. First of all, thank you. I appreciate that. And we knew it was going to take some time to kind of get this in the water stream, right? And to kind of get this language, and it's starting to really happen. And I want to just go back to the beginning of what you said, because I think it's really important that we don't get hung up on trying to use these tools perfectly before we start to use the tools. I think so many of us out there, especially if you have a team, you're like, I'm getting behind and I'm not putting time in. Like, just start using them. Make a mistake with them. Get out there and just start getting it in your language. You don't have to be a perfect coach to start using these tools. And so thank you for just bringing that up, because I think so many of us as leaders almost paralyze ourselves wanting to get it perfect before we start using them. And so, yeah, like I said, this is just such a great tool. Even on the celebrate, sometimes celebrate is great to use when we failed, because you got out there and failed 250 times this week. Let's celebrate that for a minute. Maybe that's what your agent actually needs in that moment. And the only other C I would add to this is just that word of curiosity, bringing in a little bit of curiosity, like, what do you need from me today? And then coming back and then I'm wanting that back. Like, what do you need from me? And what do I need from you? Really being curious internally, like, what am I looking for here? I think I should be looking for critique, but actually I've done enough of that on myself. And being curious within and ask for what you need. And now that we have this shared language, we can all really, really show up for each other in that way.
Absolutely true. Yeah. There's, and I, really speaking to the growing leaders, here at Symmetry, sometimes it feels like there's just so much to learn, right? I mean, I've been wanting to know about PPL for 3 years. So thank you. We're excited. I'm so excited about tomorrow's training. But like you say, don't feel overwhelmed. Just start using one little bit, right? Just try one little thing. And you'll start getting that feedback. It's kind of like, when we do the script, right? The phone script. And we do it, and then we get to give the script, and somebody hangs up on us or says no. Next time we maybe change an inflection, or we pause in a different place, and we get a better response. So it only took that one little thing. We didn't have to change everything. We just had to try one little thing. So that's definitely true with the communication code. I think hearing them talk about on the video, if you have a chance to take a few moments to watch that, would really help this. But even just here, as you see on the slide, and that is in the toolkit book, hey, critique my work. You can just actually use these phrases as you start your conversation with people. It's a good tool.
That's exactly right. And there is an exercise on the LMS that's on our next slide, just kind of to be able to walk through, like, what are the two tools that you think you use the most, and then kind of what are 2 tools that you actually enjoy receiving the most. See if those are lining up. If they're not, it's just some good awareness work there for you. So it could take probably less than 10 minutes, and maybe share it with someone you're in a relationship with that can provide honest and caring feedback to you. So thank you again for your commitment and being on here with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Meredith. It was so much fun talking with you. So thanks.
I totally agree.
Great job. Great job. Well said. As we know, most problems in relationships can be chalked up to problems in communication. So great one to dive into. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Imelda and Meredith. And again, as always, these videos, tools are available for you in the Thrive course on Symmetry U. So get yourself over to Symmetry U and check it out if you have not. Well, I've got the pleasure of introducing our next guests, Nick and Patty Compantori. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on them. This comes from their upline, Grant Lieber. And he says, Nick and Patty are the true definition of excellence. They shine bright with an incredible work ethic, unparalleled belief in all phases of the business, and a true desire to make everyone around them better. They handle challenge with incredible grace and patience, but are never afraid to tell you how it is. I am incredibly grateful to have them as business partners, but more importantly, as friends. Some great words from Grant. And looking at these numbers here, it's like April, you guys were just shy of 30,000 in production as a team. May shot all the way up to over 76,000 in production, and had a great month again in June at 53,000 in production. So I know that you guys have been experiencing some success, certainly in your numbers, but also out in the state of California. So love for you guys just to share about your success and tell us a little bit about, give some folks out there some tips about how you've been able to accomplish it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first, we're Nick and Patty Compantori. We're actually in Northern California. We're direct to Grant Lieber, awesome friend, awesome mentor. Josh, Danielle Hershey, again, awesome power couple. Carl Miller, we can't tell you how much we love him. Ryan Miller and Marshall Whalen, hierarchy.
All the Millers.
All of them, and we're blessed to be so. But I just wanted to thank Brian, Brandon, and Casey for Symmetry. I never knew there was a Symmetry, and I will say this, it's a miracle. Symmetry Financial is truly a miracle. And we'll speak a little bit about that, but thanks, guys.
I was going to say, we did our first, when we went to Sacramento for an overview, there was Darren Stubbs and Mr. Brian Pope. And he had just gotten his license, and we were just getting started. And I remember the room cleared and Mr. Pope was standing there, and I ran up to him and introduced myself. And I said, we're going to be your #1 agents. You just watch it, wait and see. And he's looking at me like, oh, sure.
Heard that one before.
#1 producers. I just want you to know we're going to be your #1 producers. And he smiled graciously, and I could see the wheels turning, I'm sure. And sure enough, we're here, Brian. I kept my word.
Yeah.
So awesome. So awesome. Well, tell us how you're doing it. Give everyone what they're wanting to hear. How you doing it?
So how we're doing it is, #1 is we don't sell anything to anybody. That is not who we are. My background is sales, but the system makes it easy to advise and help people. We have a strong desire to help people. We really believe in the coverage and the protection. It makes it easy. I think that with Patty and I, we're very honest and open with people. And we build quick relationships with people in the home or on Zoom. And it enables us to pretty much say anything we want to say to people, because people have certain mindsets, obviously, as you know, that they're thinking different thoughts, and it's our job to move them forward, to eliminate thoughts or things that would prevent them from us helping them, and that's what we do. And I'll get a little bit more into that, but Patty, you want to add to that? Okay, so
Nick, do you guys run together
Yes.
in the field? Okay.
We have a system in the home because we both will share with, when we walk in the door, building rapport.
Mhm.
And then once we sit down, then Nick will start our process. And then when it comes to doing our why, I'll jump in and I share our why with the customers. And then I will ask them, you know, why are you looking into this? And then he's able to come back in and start showing them some of the options. And then I'm there sometimes when they're confused and I can see it, I can stop and share a little bit about how it
Are you
works
saying
for
I'm
them.
confusing people?
Let Nick confuse him. Patty will clear it out.
Yeah. So we're yin and yang, and we work off each other really well. And so it works for us because we're just really compatible and we can share. I remember when we first started, he said to me, now listen, if you want to say something, just kick me under the table and I'll let you do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I could see this customer kind of winching because the price was a little too high. So I kicked him and all of a sudden you hear, ow. And I said, well, that's, and they thought it was hysterical. I mean,
That's funny.
So we've changed some of our ritual and how we do it.
That's great. How many appointments do you run a week at a minimum?
16. Our goal is to sit down with 12 people every week.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be cancellations or reschedules. You might get porch. It gets a little hard when everybody's home. I know, but when everybody's home, because then you can't, it's hard to do 8 people in a day, but we do our best to do it.
That's good. Wouldn't you guys agree the biggest common denominator in successful producers, you guys are successful producers, is the amount of appointments we're running on a weekly basis?
Oh yeah. It's really important. You always want to have more than you really can meet if you can do it. Because you always have somebody that might want to reschedule because something comes up. So you have room for that. And then I'd be happy to reschedule anybody, but at least I know I've got enough to do what I need to do. More.
Yeah. My barometer was always, I know I'm running enough appointments when I'm glad someone cancels.
Yeah.
If I'm really worried that someone's canceled about my day or my week, I don't have enough activity, We
had somebody cancel, or not cancel, but they had to swap it because something came up. And we were actually excited because we hadn't eaten all day and we've been in the car.
That's it, right?
Yes, I get to eat.
Yeah, we're not glad that they canceled and that we're not going to see them. We're just glad that we have a little bit of wiggle room in our schedule to kind of backfill it. We'll still get to them, but yeah, that's always a good barometer if you're running enough appointments out there.
So for Patty and I, look, when we came in and we plugged in to the company. We knew nothing about insurance or any of it, right? But we did a lot of activity, and it's all about the activity. If you don't do a lot of activity, you're not going to be able to pick enough momentum in what you're doing to move forward. Because the learning curve is a learning curve. You have one here. I tell people, I don't care who you are, especially with recruiting now, really good people, and they have all this experience. And I tell them, you're not going to be good when you start this. Everybody is not good when you start it. Leave everything at the door, come in and just soak yourself in the system and plug into the company. Then, because what happened to Patty and I is, we memorized it, we mastered it, now we own it. When we sit down with people, it's just so natural, and it's the real system. Follow the system.
Yep, it works.
Yeah.
A great story. When I came from a reception background. So when Carl Miller called me, and I'd probably been here maybe a month, he says, I want to hear your phone script. And on the back of my mind, I go, okay, I got this, no problem, And I do my phone script, and all of a sudden I hear, oh, that was awful. I said, did you just say my phone script was awful? He says, oh, Patty, were you a receptionist? And I said, yeah, how'd you know? And he says, oh, we got to fix that. So because when you're happy and bubbly, and I'm kind of that kind of person anyway, you don't want to do that on the phone because, it's a telemarketer's first nightmare, but, so yeah. And you learn all these things. So I always tell people, you got to be careful when you first start because there's a learning curve. So the more that you do in the beginning, the better you get, the faster you get.
That's right.
And you have enough leads. People get in here and they don't buy enough leads. Your leads are your bread and butter. And if you're only going to buy a few of them and call them a million times, you're never going to get anywhere.
Not gonna work. Yep.
Put the money into your business and buy lots of inventory so you always have fresh to work with.
That's right. You guys are nailing it. I mean, it's the 4 keys to a successful week, right?
Yep.
Starts with resources. I gotta have enough people to talk to. Then it's about time. Like I've got the resources. Now I actually have to work the resources. Now I have to control my schedule, and I have to make sure that I'm on system, that I'm actually doing the script, like you guys said, not getting off. I mean, it's really a balance of those 4 things. If you get those 4 things, there's no excuse. There's no reason why you shouldn't be out there with 12, 15 families a week, you know, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a week in volume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that's what you guys are doing. Plus that.
So basically with us, I would say that Patty and I, we dial together.
Yeah.
We go out and we sit with people together on Zoom. It's the same thing because, you know, we're helping people on Zoom too. If somebody's not comfortable with us going out to their home, we're going to do something. That was, you know, when all that stuff hit for us, I'm going to tell a story because it was the last Sunday, because we go out on Sundays and Mondays. We just love going out on Sundays. For one, if people are willing to give up their Sunday, it's important to them.
Yeah.
But it was that last Sunday of March, and we went out and we just felt, you could feel it in the air with people. Everybody was just the shift, right, from this virus and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat with about 4 people, and then we came home, and we knew that it changed for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, God, we didn't know what we're going to do, right? But anyway, then the Zoom thing came right in. And I'll be honest, I was probably stomping around the house for 2 weeks. I did not want to do Zoom.
Well, we were really uncomfortable because we had this process so down, and it was just taking off your shoe and putting it back on, no problem. All of a sudden, I'm looking at Zoom and I'm thinking, how am I going to make how am I going to feel about, how do they know who I am? Like, you know, it was a screen, but we kind of looked at each other and said, that's it. We're going to do this and we're going to kill it.
Yeah, we changed our mindset.
Yeah.
And so now we're in a position where we can go out and sit with people and also do Zoom. So it's very cool to be able to do both.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool, guys. And you're getting a great result. Real quick, 30 seconds. How's life look now compared to the way it looked when you first got here?
Well, I was working for a corporation, giving most of my time, never making what I was worth. I don't like working for other people. I'll be honest with you. I'd much rather work together and be our own captain, so we know where we're going and we can work hard and get what we want for it. And so our life's totally changed. I mean, we're sitting here on a Wednesday morning talking about this. You know, I mean, it's awesome. So we can't say enough. Go ahead, Patty.
I never thought that there would be a company out there that would give us the privilege of owning our own business and be a part of something and grow with a company that gives you all the perks in the world you could ever want, the freedom to build an agency, the freedom to take trips, all these things that you get just by working hard. I can remember learning I'm going to Costa Rica, and I'm like, Carl, how did that happen? I didn't know anything about that. And he said, just from doing your job. And I told one of my recruits that I was recruiting, just for doing your job, somebody says, thank you. Where in the world did you get that anywhere? So I owe my life to Symmetry because I think it's built a foundation I couldn't have had anywhere else.
Exactly.
So
Well, you guys are doing the work. You guys are doing the work. Let's not forget that. Everyone, you know, we're continuing to make the vehicle better, but somebody's got to drive it.
Yeah, but
you know, we do all believe we have the Ferrari here, but sometimes we throw the keys to people and they don't drive it like a Ferrari, which is fine. But you guys are stepping on the gas, so that's good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Doug, we ready to go to Purdy?
We are ready. Absolutely.
Purdy, how fired up are you right now? In all seriousness.
You know, I was chatting with Imelda and Rossum before the call here a little bit, talking about, you know, Santa's going to be here again, you know, and we're using all these racing analogies today. The call is leading the race, growing the race. You're talking about a Ferrari. It's almost like if you've driven a car your whole life without power steering, and now all of a sudden you get in a car with power steering. You're like, oh, this is easy. You're not like,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
and just it's really exciting. Buckle up, kids. Put your 5-point harness on, your Hans device, your helmet.
That's right.
Rossum's got it in the background there, and get ready.
Absolutely. What we're feeling right now, guys, is we're feeling, I think, already a bit of a awesome kind of swell that's happening from the first evolution part 1 of our business. And I think you guys are probably feeling that. Kevin, I know we were talking yesterday a lot. We're getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of people kind of wondering what this is about, what's going on. People from the outside reaching out to you guys as leaders saying, tell me more about Quility. I've got several texts from people saying, tell me more. These are people out from the outside kind of watching Symmetry and watching what all of us are doing together. And we're starting to see a very nice little tick up in volume. And we haven't even gotten to evolution part 2. And I would just give you guys a little teaser as to next week. I would just say everyone needs to be on the call. You need to have everyone on your team, potential teammates, get as many people on this call as possible, because in a lot of ways, what we're going to be talking about next week will be even more impactful for everyone on the call. Not that the things we rolled out a couple weeks ago aren't impactful for everyone. They absolutely are. Everyone on this call should be thinking about earning their equity appreciation rights, because it is absolutely doable for everyone on this call. The impact of that, should we get into that world where we want to make a big boy move, which may very well happen, will be greatly benefited everyone involved. The QMS program, as I talked about last week, to me, it's not just about my clients 12 to 18 months, a couple years down the road. It's the vision of that. And we really didn't get into that a ton on Evolution Part 1, but the QMS program is going to affect every single agent on this call immediately, sooner than later. Meaning, Kevin, you go out and make a sell. Like, there's annuity volume in there, there's equity index universal lives, there's DFL, there's future product lines that we may end up acquiring, in the med sup space and the PNC space. Like, when it's all digitized, Kevin, we can actually take the door openings that you guys are doing and turn them into a lot more revenue for everyone. That passive income, even in the producer quadrant. Okay, that's a very big deal for everyone. We're already starting to see paychecks, people popping up $500, $600, $800 paychecks, and where did that come from? Right? That was on a QMS sell. Didn't have to lift a finger, and I got an extra $500 paycheck. That is going to start happening a lot, and it's only going to get better in the future. But next week's call is put your seatbelt on. Get ready for not only an amazing call, but what's going to happen after that call. Biggest, I think, kind of pulse of momentum and energy this company's probably ever experienced when you combine everything going on together. So, Purdy, we're excited, man. Excited to have you on the call, buddy.
Thanks,
and everyone
Casey.
else on too. Rossum, Imelda, what else all we got?
Casey, man, I'm just, I just to everybody, having spent some time with you, Casey, and, your brother Linwood, Brandon, Casey, and Brian, you guys are always forward thinking as far as how can we just make this way better for us, the people that are locked arms with Symmetry. How can we make this the biggest brand, the best culture environment, and your documentation, the things that you've done here in 10 years, they're huge trophies, and just really excited. Like Nick and Patty were talking about, that they found Symmetry. It's a blessing. If you're part of Symmetry, man, just be grateful, and let's just get to work and get everybody in here next week to really find out where the evolution is going. Just really grateful to be part of Symmetry.
Thank you, buddy. What are you running on a monthly basis right now?
We're right on a 4-week average. We're doing anywhere between, like you saw just a couple minutes ago, between 860,000 to 900,000 on a 4-week turn-in. 5-weekers, we're doing $1 million plus. So
that's massive, guys. That's just, for everyone listening in, these are video game numbers that we talk about on these calls, and they're so we get so used to saying these numbers, but sometimes I just have to pause and think about what a $900,000 a month agency actually means. And Kevin, to think back to when you first got started, and you're always call you guys the poster, you the poster child of Symmetry in a lot of ways, because you're a good example of someone who, when we say, salespeople quit sales jobs all the time. Symmetry is built for salespeople that want to progress into retirement and something a little bit larger than that, right? You still have to provide a great opportunity for someone to come out and sell. And Kevin, you did just that. But you were working somewhere where you were making over $200,000 a year, right? $250,000 a year as a salesperson. Eat what you kill. Why did you quit? Why did you leave that to come here?
Yeah, you're only as good as your last sale, your last month, your last year. You got to start all over again. It never ends.
And now a business that's running 800,000 even on a low month, I mean, that translates into gross revenue on an annual basis, probably in that 800 range. You got a 10-20% cost of business. Like, that's a really sweet deal to be able to transition from a really good salesperson into a business where you can be a really good salesperson, but then also leverage a model that actually produces for you a business that gets you to the point where you don't have to be in the field. You may want to be in the field, and it sounds like you're still running appointments. Some, right? Like, that's in the blood for salespeople. We're not trying to glorify this idea of just like never being in the field. We're just saying that, like, it is nice not to have to be. And when you have a system that actually produces the desired result that we're all going for, I think that when people get up and go to work, like, the long-term result I think most people are going for is time and money. And there's no system that provides that like this one does. And everyone on this screen right now I'm looking at is a product of that. And you guys are working that system, and you're getting a taste of that result, and you're going to continue to get more of that result. But man, so proud of what you're doing, Kevin. Proud of what Rossum and Imelda are doing, the whole team. You guys are killing it. So take it away, man.
Thank you. Thanks. Well, I will. Hey, Kevin Purdy here, direct to Lynn Watkins, direct to Symmetry. Pleasure to have two folks on here that have just tearing it up out here. Our call today is called Leading the Race, Growing Your Base. I have joining with me Miss Imelda Koptenak, agency director. Just to give you a little snippet of Imelda, I met Imelda 5 years ago. She was a career builder person, I guess I could call you, Imelda, and did a phone call in my dining room with Scott Summers listening in on the interview. And you got in here and you said, you know what, I just want to make 6 figures, Kevin. I want to make 6 figures. I don't want to be a team. I don't want to do that. I just want to replace my 6-figure income. And I said, you can do that here. We can show you how. And you came in here and started, producing, making money, and your why changed. And, I'll let you share that in a minute, but, your why changed, said, you know what, Kevin, I want to start building a team. And you went to work, you built a team. Last year, your team did over $1.6 million in sales. Great job. This year, current numbers, year to date, you have over 40 new agents in your base. Year to date in your master, over 59 new agents. These are people checking out your school bus, Imelda, and saying, I want to get on that bus. I want to go where you're going. They're following you. Your master right now, you're knocking on the door, knocking on the door of $1 million. You're at 976,000, 6 months in. What does that mean? That means 6 months from now, a $2 million agency. And just way to go. Really excited for you to be on the call here with us.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for that introduction. I want to thank you for inviting me and Rossum to be on here. I want to thank Casey, Brandon, Brian for this fun company, right? This is a lot of fun, and you said buckle up, right? We're in the race card with some great founders and partners. I actually want to tell you how excited I am to be on the call today. So I'm going to say how many people out there are actually still in their pajama bottoms. And if you're on Zoom, maybe you got a nice shirt, but I actually dressed up. Now I put a dress on for this call. That's how fired up I am.
That's good. I was a little nervous for a minute. I thought you were going to show us your PJ bottoms. So that's good to know.
It's nice to dress up finally, you know, so have a good reason. So thanks. So I would like to first introduce my guest here, if that's okay, Kevin. Is that the way we want to go with this? I'm just so excited because to introduce Rossum Tugber, who we have here, #1 right now in the standings for Pura Vida, #1 agency, well, in my agency, #1 agent, #2 agency master aid or agency owner in your master agency. You know, for some people, just to you understand about Rossum, Rossum and I knew each other loosely from a prior company. You know, that was a company I worked remotely, and we would have once a month conference calls, and I was there a year or two, and all of a sudden every week, you know, top of the leaderboards, Rossum Tugber. I'm like, who is this Rossum guy? And then I was up in the Northeast region, and my manager invited Rossum to speak at a training he had for us. So that's how I met Rossum, and somehow I got his phone number. It was in my phone. And I was here at Symmetry, and that company was changing and shrinking. And I learned that they had let Rossum go. He was then a regional manager. And I just picked up the phone, right? And his number was in my phone. And I just called him and said, hey, are you looking for something? Are you open to anything? Because I found this great company and I'll take a look at it. And I got him on the phone with Kevin Purdy, of course. But what's incredible is that he came on board, and it's just been a lot of fun. I really appreciate, and I'm really grateful for Ross and how he's helped lead my whole team growth. Just so everybody knows, Rossum just celebrated his 73rd birthday. He is not the oldest agency owner. That honor is still with Danny Young, but he's right up there. And just so you know, the month of his birthday, he hit $1 million of submitted premium, and it was his 3rd year anniversary here. It's an amazing accomplishment. And he's going to share with you a little bit about that. And in January, he did $63,000 production on his own pen. You saw $54,000 last month. His agency did $113,000 last month. It's just been an incredible ride. And here we are to speak to Formula One race car driver, Rossum Tugber.
Hey, Melda, I don't know how to top that. Thank you so much for the accolades. It's so nice to be recognized like that. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Melda, for the opportunity that you guys have given to me. And it was a wonderful phone call. Without that, I would have never known a company like Symmetry existed. And I also want to show my appreciation to Brian, Brandon, and Casey for providing this platform at this age. I am living the dream. I really am. When I joined this company, my goal was, see if I can make in a year or two $100,000. I retired at 68, got bored at 66, got bored at 68. And then that phone call changed my life. And I said, you know what? I just want to be an agent and be with my clients. I love, need kind of a setup, even though I had managerial, executive roles, etc. At its core, I'm a salesperson. I love being in the field. So this opportunity that you gave me and Kevin after that interview, I totally appreciate it. And it's been a great 3 years. This year, I feel like, when an athlete gets into a zone, like he cannot miss a jump shot, Messi with the ball, creating those things, Michael Jordan, etc. I feel like that because as I matured over the 3 years, I had never sold insurance before. I had sold other things, but I was really anxious. Am I going to succeed or am I going to embarrass myself? And what started with a few $1,000s earnings in May 3 years ago, I mean, recently making 30, 40 grand, maybe even more, has become a reality. And it's only because of the opportunity this company has given to me. So I totally appreciate that.
That's great. Well, Rassam, you came in here with no prior insurance experience, but you had a lot of sales experience. That's why I called you.
Mhm.
But we heard Nick and Patty saying earlier about kind of coming in here and this was all new to you. One of the things that you've talked about a lot, and I think that you have a really good ability to control your mindset. What are some of the things then and the transition of your mindset, say when you started here at Symmetry and then as you got that expertise, when you felt more comfortable about the products, how do you handle your mindset? How's that changed? What advice do you have for others who want to be an elite producer like you?
Yeah. Well, in a way, the theme today is staying in the race, leading the race, growing the base. So there are a lot of analogies between racing and what we do here or other professional sports. You have to be prepared, you have to practice, you have to get good at your trade, and then you have to put, of course, the work that goes in there. What we are doing here is not a sprint race. We're in an endurance race. So to win first, you must first finish. Mindset is key to that. Mindset of a race car driver is key to that. When he's on the grid and they've lined up, all he's thinking is he's imagining how he's going to get to the first 10, pass a couple cars, and then stay on the lead or follow the leader and don't lose any ground. And more or less, those are the things I do in my real life. Once I set my goal is always to finish on the podium. I mean, if you want to succeed in sales, you have to have a positive mindset. And the negative, the no's, etc., should only go to make you a stronger salesperson because sales is a numbers game. A few more no's, is going to be followed by more yeses. And ultimately, that mindset, when you're not having the best of sales in closing your presentations, is going to overcome that, and you're going to grow from that experience. Next week, you're going to overcome that. And so mindset, a positive mindset is key. Commitment to success is key. And having the discipline to follow that mindset is the key. But more than anything else, you have to be driven to succeed. And don't let failure become an option.
I like how you said your goal is the podium. Consistently topping in my agency of top production, and it's the weeks that you take a vacation that anybody else gets a shot up a little higher on the podium. But you've been an incredible leader within our team. You've really shared some of the things that you've learned out in the field, going from home to home and I've heard you talk about, kind of the we, right? You're putting a program together for the we, and you've shared that with our team. And I just really appreciate that. Talk to us about your goal orientation and what were your goals, say, when you first got here? Like, I think you alluded earlier, just to make $100,000. But now, right now you're close to $300,000 of personal production already year to date. So how do you set your goals, and then how do you go after them? Give us some ideas there.
Along with the positive mindset, goal setting is key to succeed. Without goals, you're just wandering out there. It's like driving around without a roadmap. I've always been goal oriented, and I think big. Even though I was new in this business, once I proved to myself, I passed the exam. Believe me, there was anxiety before that. Then my first month, May 2017, I made $2,800. That told me I can do this. Next month, I doubled it. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to be able to earn 100,000 out of this business in the next 12 months. I did that. Guess what? That reinforced my positive mindset further. And I kept raising the bar. I kept raising the goal. And I race with buddies of mine, but I also race against my own self. So every month thereafter, I kept raising the bar, because what Symmetry gives us in the system it provides. I have been around quite a few very good companies, but never seen as good a system as the one in Symmetry. All I had to do was leave my pride, check it at the door, and follow what I'm being taught, including giving my first phone presentation to Kevin. Like a little boy in a classroom, I was in excitement going over the call. He says, okay, you're good now. And he let me go. And from that point on, I never looked back. So think big. I always think big. Shoot for the stars. You'll at least land on the moon. And you know, set your income goals. If you want to make $2,000 a month, you're a part-timer, be the best part-timer you can. We can get you there. Your mentor can get you there. This is, sales is part art, part science. There's a lot of science in there. Your mentor could easily plan with you what your lead investment should be, how many dollars you should make, and how many presentations you should give, and how many sales will that bring. And once you understand that relationship, all you do is think bigger and bigger and bigger. More dials, more leads. And it's like investing more into a business that's really snowballing in a positive way. I mean, I'm right now looking at $40,000 a month, maybe as my downside. I was never there before. So my perception of the business is changing. I'm in that zone that I was talking about as an athlete. I feel like once I'm in the home, I'm going to be able to close everybody because they've already qualified themselves. And over the 3 years, I got better at the presentation, the confidence, the presentation. One thing that I'm going to recommend to anybody, if you want to succeed in this business, take it seriously, get good at your trade, plug in, learn from each one of those calls, and get that presentation smoother and smoother and deliver it with your own persona, and be assumptive, because they've gone through a lot of extent to send in that lead. They've already qualified themselves saying, on this street, on this city, I'm your guy. All you have to do is become we with them. That's very important right from the get-go. I'm very good at establishing the rapport, becoming we with the customer. And it's not a fake we. I believe in my product. I sell value. I don't sell prices. If you're going to sell prices, you're going to lose the battle to others. I sell value. So once I build up the value with my living benefits or whatever it may be, nobody's going to follow me and take that sale away from me and my clients. We're going to retain that business. Our persistence is going to be through the roof. And it's been playing out so.
That's great. You know, one of the things that I hope people have learned, I know in the Purdy Master, people know that you're a worker. One of the things that I've noticed about you, Rasim, is that when you go to work, you go to work, right? You get the blinders on, and I know you know it's that focus. You know, when you're driving that car, right? You're looking ahead. And on your team, you've got some great players as well on your team that have a really great work ethic. So what does getting to work look like for you? Because it was one of the things that you stress a lot, and it makes you one of the hardest working guys. But what are the tips that you have for us on getting to work?
That's a very good question. You know, once you have the right mindset and the goals are set and you're learning the trade, it is now time to go to work. We hear often this is a simple business, but it's not easy. It's going to require work. I sacrifice my Sundays because, just like earlier Nick and Patty were saying, weekend appointments hold better, close better, and it gives you momentum for the week. And I do my selling on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is my mop-up day. Thursday and Friday, I come up for air. Saturday, my new week starts. And I have developed great teammates along with me. Joel Kimsey, who's probably as good, if not better than I is. Joel's a natural and a wealth of knowledge in sales. And in addition to him, Robert Quintero. Both of these gentlemen, actually, when you recruited me, you recruited those two as well. Mm-hmm. So it's an indirect result of your recruiting, really, because they had faith in me. I had faith in you. And we came in here with a belief that this system works. This company is going to take us. And look, this most recent introduction of the equity appreciation. I have been with big companies. I've never seen anybody rewarding you for the year past. I mean, they made it attractive. What does that tell you about what kind of a company we have here? I'm telling you, for all the newcomers, my only regret is I wish I was 43 years old instead of 73, and because I just don't want this run to stop. So be passionate about what you're doing, be one with your client, establish the value, establish the rapport early on, just like Nick and Patty said. That's very key the first few minutes. And don't sell, let them buy from you. If your presentation, we're not pitching, we're not pitchmen, we're presenters, we're financial professionals. We're not, you don't want to come across just an insurance rep. You want to come across as a caring financial services professional. So, but don't be timid in the close. This is, I believe in one call close. If they've gone through all that effort, unless I mess up something, there's going to be a sale that evening. They're going to benefit because I'm going to protect them. I'm going to benefit for the time I put in. I put in 3,000 to 4,000 miles a month, and I want that to count both for them and for me.
True. Well, there you go. One of the hardest working guys, one of the most successful race car drivers, and my business partner, Rassam Tugbar. So grateful to have you, Rassam, pushing me with, and we're going to talk about that a little bit now. Having you as an elite producer with an elite producer on your team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Imelda. Thank you, Kevin, for making me a part of your team.
There you go, Rassam. Really appreciate you, man. Everybody's asking me, Imelda, you said Formula One race car driver. Is it a Formula One race car driver? I know. I got pictures of you racing.
Yeah, I'm a vintage race car driver, and I drive prototypes, Indy cars, and Formula One cars. I have a vintage 1972 Formula One car that she was looking at. It's called a Leda from 1971. So yes, but Formula One
awesome.
cars, but vintage race cars.
Rassam, I did not know all of these details. So great to get to know that. And I just want to say I kind of want to be you when I grow up. All right.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's
vice
awesome,
versa.
That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. Love it. Hey, Casey, maybe we get him out go-kart racing. We've done that quite a bit around
here. We have. I
don't
think we would be okay.
I don't know. With your weight advantage.
See, they didn't understand that. I kept whipping up on everyone, and they didn't understand. Well, I'm 20 pounds lighter here, and we're riding around in a go-kart that weighs 50 pounds. So.
50 pounds of difference makes a big difference in a small go-kart.
It does. But I did hit the apex better than anyone else, Ross, and I'll tell you that right now.
That goes the skill.
Got to carry that speed into and out of the corners, right?
Absolutely. Threshold brake through the turn and out accelerate.
I love it.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I knew that I'd get Casey in there. I knew that. Hey, so here we are. Leading the race, growing the base. Going to spend a couple more minutes with Agency Director Imelda Koptenak. For those of you tuning in here, Imelda, the situation with your agency. You wanted to build your agency. You wanted that permanent passive income. You wanted to retire your husband John, and you did that. And here, a lot of times when we're building our agencies, we have a situation where you did a great job. You reached out, you contacted your warm market, and then the pecking order, Rassam was higher up in that company, and you went out there, you got out of your comfort zone, you did that. And then all of a sudden he comes in and it clicks and things are rolling. And, you know, in the structure of your agency, you have the Tugbert agency growing and developing, putting up big numbers, and now you have your base. You know, you got to, you know, we always want to be recruiting and looking for the next Rossum. And a lot of times you've seen it in the past around here where we have a strong leg, and then all of a sudden we're worried about, you know, if we're sticking with the racing analogy, of getting passed or getting sidelined. And, you know, that was a concern of yours. And where I really applaud you is that you got focused. You understood that, hey, listen, it's just not a tag you're at. I can develop my base. I can have the structure of and security of Symmetry around me to really have that well-balanced agency. And last month, you know, your agency did 193,000, and Rossum's side of it was 110,000. I mean, you're right there on the balancing of growing your agency. Let's talk about that. You know, why did you want to build? What was the value on that? And how'd you handle, you know, one of the things a lot of agency owners are going through when they're building an agency, when they're getting the growth that you have, is that stress. Like, man, am I going to find another Rossum? How am I going to do that? Talk to us about your mindset when you're like, why build, and that pressure maybe that you're feeling a little bit of.
Well, thanks, Kevin. And yeah, as you said before, you know, when I came to Symmetry 5 years ago, I was just looking to make $100,000 a year. I wanted a company with good leads, and I wanted an opportunity where I could go part-time when my husband retired in about 8-10 years. And Symmetry was that, and it, you know, it was great, you know, got the trip to Maui and everything. So the production side of this, like Rossum, I was really comfortable, loved being in that, you know, kneecap to kneecap sale. But I started seeing what you were building, what others had built, and what that passive income could do for, and was doing for the families of some of the other agency owners and leaders here at Symmetry. And you know, at that time, you know, my husband, John, you know, listen, I hit the lottery when he answered my Match.com ad, let's just say that. You know, he's an amazing partner to me. And you know, he'd been in his defense contracting job as an engineer for 35 years, and was just, things had changed. And the stress that he was going through in those years was just really, really bad. And I wanted to get him out of there. I wanted to be, he had a retirement coming, but I wanted to make it a couple years earlier so he could do the things that were his passion. And so that's why I started building. And John's been retired now a couple years, and now he's my biggest fan and supporter. But so I had to say, you know, what was my next why, right? What was going to keep me building? And, you know, I heard others say, you know, it was to help their team grow and everything. But at the same time, I was struggling with this, because the reason I told you I didn't want to build, Kevin, was because I knew that I was going to be communication challenged. I knew that I was struggled to lead myself. So how could I stand up and bring incredible people like Rossum in? Well, see, here's the proof. It wasn't me, it was the system, right? Like Rossum, like you just said. However, to build a team, you know, I had to become more, and it was so uncomfortable. You know, one of the other tools is the 70-30 principle. You know, that a lot of times we work 70% with our comfort zone, and then we're 30% out. When I became agency owner, probably the first year and a half, and I've been an agency owner now for 3 years, I was 70%, 80%, nearly 90% out of my comfort zone. I had anxiety attacks, shut down. It was just really, really hard, you know, and just, it was just me. It was just saying, all right, you know, you don't have these skills. They don't come naturally to you, you know. But I guess, you know, surrounding yourself, you know, the cornerstone of association with other really great people and people, listen, I want to express grace to Rossum and Joel and some of the other people who've been on my team for all this time, because I know that maybe I wasn't the right person for them, but you always told me, Kevin, let Symmetry do the heavy lifting. Let Symmetry do the heavy lifting. And I just, I wanted to be successful here. I wanted to be successful in building a team. And so I just kept moving forward, right? I just kept moving forward. You always said to me, just keep recruiting. Rossum, was out there and getting the system and taking advantage of all of that. Just, keep moving forward. And everything was uncomfortable, for me, recruiting, phone it, doing recruiting interviews. That was awkward, at a time when I didn't feel very successful. I tried to leverage your success, Kevin. But I just had to grow into that. Like Rossum, talked about, and Nick and Patty earlier, about just going on more and more appointments. You gain the mastery. I gained that mastery from doing more and more interviews. Knowing that I'd maybe find another Rossum, or somebody like him, or somebody a tenth of him, but just to keep moving forward. And when I would have some issues with an agent, Kevin, you just say, find more people, keep recruiting. And I think if I could share anything that I think with those newer, younger agency owners that are coming up, is just keep moving forward, right? Just keep moving forward. And eventually the anxiety attacks, lessened, and I grew into, I'd have a good month, my team would have a good month, and I could own that and then speak more confidently with the next recruit. And then you find good people, they come on board and they're excited again about what this incredible company offers, like my key leader, James Johnson, we've got key leader, Joel Kimsey, team leader, Jason Brown, these people just came on here and saw it. And then now I'm having so much fun when I talk to them, because I truly am excited about helping them build to where I am, because that's going to help me get to where you are, Kevin, right? And so it's uncomfortable, but just keep moving forward. I was telling George Matthews, who's also been a great mentor to me, thanks, George, the other day, like, you don't have to be the best here at Symmetry. It's good. It's great to be on top like Rossum. It's awesome to be an elite producer. It's awesome to earn those trips. But the magic of Symmetry and when you can build here is really just a matter of forward momentum. It's okay, I didn't do really good yesterday, and maybe I went downstairs at the end of the day and met with John for dinner and just kind of vented and stuff, and then just got back up the next day and did it again, right? Just move forward, because it's like, the compound effect we read about, that I got better at the questions I asked. I got better at identifying really, better people. I got better at being more of a sorter than a seller, in the recruiting. I got better at being a leader, and I'm getting better myself at everything, but just keep moving forward. So I'm sorry, I'm excited to share that, because I feel like, the balance, Kevin, I had an elite producer just pushing up, and like Rossum, 40,000 is my base now. And that's amazing. And I'm super grateful, because that helped give me some leverage, right, to find these other people and grow out here. And I did, that was my focus, is just keep finding more people. And every day, every day I'm doing that.
Well, and it wasn't easy. And that's what, I admire about you, is that sometimes, new folks coming in wanting to build an agency, they look at, okay, it's easy to everybody. From the outside, Imelda, it looked easy to us looking at you, and behind the scenes, it's a lot of sweat equity, tears, and sometimes frustration, and that happens to all, it happened to me, it happens to a lot of us. What was it when you were feeling this? What, Rossum talks about vision. What was your vision when you were going through all this? And we talk also in Symmetry about belief, honing in that belief, like, I'm going to keep fighting. What was it for you?
Kevin, I was in the insurance business from 1988 to 2000. And I've always believed in insurance. And I was one of these business women in the 80s and into the 90s, and I had this goal of really doing it myself, making it. And, what Symmetry has the ability, and now with the new equity appreciation, I mean, I think I realized, Kevin, that I really could finally make it and be successful as a businesswoman here, right? That the whole bit of, the leads kind of made things where I could really focus on the good parts, the profitable part, as opposed to the, finding them. And it gave me a cash flow that's enabling me to do more. So the vision was now, Kevin, here that I want to get to the top level. I want to get there so I can say I did, so that I can look back at the 35-year-old Imelda who was eating dinner out of a can while in the insurance business, that I can look back and say, I built a successful insurance agency. That what John and I have built together as a couple, that's me too, So that's a big thing. And I'm not a quitter. I shared with you a meme I found on Facebook the other day of this little puppy trying to climb up the stairs and saying, all right, I will, I will do it, but I'm going to bitch the whole way. And right. I mean, I was like, oh my God. Right. So, I mean, the thing is that if you quit, when you're self-employed, if you quit, you only quit on you, and I don't want that. And I think the personal growth that happens here, the opportunity to say, well, Imelda, you can be better than that. And I think the big thing is that realizing that I had found some people on my team, Kevin, like you found me, right? So I found some people on my team that needed me to be more for them, right? Needed me to kind of help them with that leg up, because this was new for them. And how could I be that? So it actually, like in the last 6 to 9 months, it's really transitioned from being about me, and it really truly is about them. Because if I can figure out how to communicate better to help them get to their goals better, then I've really succeeded. So that's where my vision is now, is I'm looking at these people, Ross and I, on our teams, and we're saying, okay, this is our 110. This is our next 110. And how can I get to be a better person, leader, mentor for them?
Love it. Last couple of things here before we close out the call, Imelda. What advice would you have? A lot of times it's easy for us to give advice to other people because it's hard for us to take a look inside ourselves. But, what advice would you have to the Imelda Koptenak coming into Symmetry years ago that was pretty much starting out? Like, we have so many agency owners, people coming in, want ownership. They're going to encounter some struggles along the way. What advice today is to yourself, years ago, about starting out on this journey with Symmetry?
Oh man, I would say you got to listen to Kevin Purdy.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, Kevin, is what Ross and you mentioned it before. I did not check my ego at the door. I was 53 when I started here, and I thought I was all that, and having a healthy ego, confidence, that's what, helps us be good at sales. Right. But what it did was it was that voice in my head that was saying, oh, you don't have to read those books, or you don't have to be on that conference call, or you don't have to call Kevin. You can figure this out yourself. And that was such a waste. That was such a waste. And it might be for somebody listening on this call, it's maybe their ego is popping up in a different way, but set that aside set that aside and really commit to, the 4 cornerstones, right? It's just, that massive action and the constant correction. And the fact is, you will gain mastery. You will become a great salesperson like Rossum. You will become a great builder and recruiter, and you will become a great leader. But it doesn't happen. Rossum, I love that you shared your numbers for your first month and your first 6 months, because you'd been a huge producer before, but you acknowledged your successes, as small as they were, with the idea, I can do this, right? And so celebrate those and just keep moving forward. But really listening to your Kevin Purdy, whoever your Kevin Purdy is, listen to them and then really ask yourself, am I doing what my mentor told me? Am I doing the things it takes to be successful here? Am I doing the work?
Yeah, great stuff. It's one of the books we've been reading, John Gordon, the carpenter, and are you listening to yourself, or why don't you try talking to yourself? Talk to yourself like right. The strong individual that you are. So, hey, Mel, the last question for you here. How has your life changed? How are things different for you, your husband, John, than, starting out here? And what are you looking forward to coming up here with Symmetry?
Well, after we got John retired, one of my goals was to get back to Arizona. So we live here in Old Lyme, Connecticut, which is a beautiful area, but I love Tucson, Arizona. So we got to spend a couple months there this past winter. And, the idea of being snowbirds makes me feel a little bit old. But, I got to, get to know some of the leaders down there with Symmetry in Arizona, and I got to keep working this business. So I can enjoy, the mountains and the vistas there that just I thrive on. John's been able to mentor kids at the middle school. His passion is building and flying model airplanes. And we have a Science Olympiad team at our middle school and high school. And John's been having an incredible impact up there, teaching model building as, aviation engineering and the things that helps students learn. That's made available. And you want to know what the funny thing is, Kevin, how life has changed is that I can go to the grocery store and I don't really care whether it's the cheapest brand, of peanut butter or the most expensive. Like, I don't have to really buy the house brand anymore. And that is only just starting. If John's like, spend the money, Imelda. So, if you knew what I learned from my mom, that's a huge thing that I don't have to worry about that. And the other thing that's changing is I have so much fun with my team. We had a party, man. If I had taken a picture of Rossum with his hat on and everything, we had a party, to celebrate some accomplishments the other month, and so I just feel like I might be here in my little atelier here in my house in Old Lyme, but we're together, and the Zoom has made that happen, and with you and the leaders and the Purdy Master and here with everybody, it's just a heck of a lot of fun. Couldn't be a team with a better team, better company. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Imelda. Continued success to you, Rossum. We have a full shopping cart of nuggets from both of you today. Really proud. That's what Symmetry is all about: growth, development, having fun, getting stuff done. Really appreciate it. Everybody go out, have a safe week. We'll see you tomorrow for the PPL with Mr. Casey Watkins and Todd Spivey tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you tune into that. Everybody be safe. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.
And stay in the race.
Stay in the race.
Build your base.